Okay, so there's a couple other things I want to cover. So perpendicular lines, when you're finding the slope, I want to go over how to do that. It's the negative reciprocal. That's just a phrase you need to remember like forever and ever and ever with math. Perpendicular lines, it's the negative reciprocal. So if I wanted to find the slope, like slope perpendicular to 1/3, say. The reciprocal means flip it over, so it's going to be 3/1, and the negative part means put a negative in front. Okay, so my slope is going to be -3. Let's say I had -2. The slope perpendicular to that, I can technically put a 1 underneath because that's still -2. It means the same thing. And when I flip this one over, the reciprocal part, I get -1/2. And if I do the negative part, that makes it a positive. So I'm going to just write 1/2. Now if I had 3/5, the reciprocal part means flip it over, and the negative part, put a negative in front. Let's do one more. Let's say -2/7. The reciprocal part means flip it over, and then the negative part means, the negative part really means change the sign. So it's going to be a +7/2 now. Okay, so that means that if I have a line with slope -2/7 and a slope with 7/2, or a line with slope 7/2, those two lines will be perpendicular. It doesn't even matter what the y-intercept is. They will be perpendicular. So that's that part. And then I also, if you watch the parallel video, it goes over how to find the equation of a line that goes through a particular point. It's the same process, just finding the slope is a little bit different. You have to do the negative reciprocal, because parallel lines it matched, in perpendicular lines it's the negative reciprocal. But the rest of that process is exactly the same. So watch the parallel video for that. But I just want to go over, in the worksheet, sometimes they just gave you the y-intercept. So if I said, find the equation that is perpendicular to y equals 1/2 x minus 1, and has the y-intercept of 7, then we'll go over how to do that. So first you have to figure out the slope. So I started with 1/2, but I have to do the reciprocal thing. That means flip it over, and I have to do the negative part. So my slope is going to be -2. And then this one is simpler than the other ones. With a point, if they give you a coordinate point, you have to plug in all sorts of things to figure out B. But here, they just gave you B. B is 7. They gave that to you up there because they gave you the y-intercept. So all you have to do is plug stuff in. So I've got y equals, have your m, x, plus your b. So this line is the one that is perpendicular to the line I gave you, and it goes through the right point. It goes through that y-intercept. So this applies to parallel lines also, just the slope part's a little bit different. But if they give you the y-intercept, that's b. You don't have to solve for anything. So those ones are simpler. If they give you the coordinate point, you need to follow what it says in the parallel lines video for how to solve for b.